Welcome back to another English lesson. In case this is your first time here, my name is Brent. I've been an English teacher in the United States for over 20 years, which means I'm old. So last week, we lost two very famous people from my childhood. If you are a child of the 80s, which probably means you were born in the 70s and you became like a teenager in the early 90s, you were a child of the 80s, just like me. And there were probably no bigger stars than Hulk Hogan and Ozzy Osbourne. Well, maybe a few bigger stars, but losing them in the same week really made me feel sad. Like, wow, part of my childhood has been removed. Like, they're gone now. So, in today's English lesson, I would like to teach you 10 new terms about these two guys. I'll have definitions for you. I will use them in a couple sentences. We'll practice reading in English, and then there will be a quiz at the end. So, just in case you don't know, because I'm not exactly sure who is famous all around the world, but as an American, these two guys were big. One guy was an American. His name is Hulk Hogan, and he was probably the most famous professional wrestler of the 1980s. And then later on, he had a reality TV show. He just kind of never went away from the public eye. And the other guy, Ozzy Osbourne, he was the lead singer of a group named Black Sabbath, and then he got kicked out of the band or he left the band, and then he became like a solo artist, went by his own name, Ozzy Osbourne, and sold a bunch of records. And just yesterday, as I'm recording this, they had the funeral for Ozzy Osbourne, and his wife Sharon looked very sad. So the first term I would like to teach you is passed away. That's an English phrasal verb, but it's a nice way or a polite way or a softer way to say someone died. So if you say, oh, he died yesterday, that could be kind of harsh. So we might want to say, oh, he passed away. It just sounds a little better. So Ozzy Osbourne passed away at the age of 76. And I believe Hulk Hogan was 71 years of age. But they were both icons. If someone is an icon, they are a famous and important person in a certain field. So, here for music, I mean, come on, I know I'm an American. So maybe if you live in China or India, these guys aren't icons. They were a band a little bit before I was born, but they're the Beatles. I think most people, no matter where you live in the world, would know the Beatles. They have some great songs. If you've never heard of the Beatles, look up Let It Be, Hey Jude, A Day in the Life. Some of these songs are iconic. That's the adjective we would use for icon. But let's look at the official definition for icon: a famous and important person in a certain field. And now I realize I have read that for the second time. So just in case you didn't know what icon was, now you know it twice. Hulk Hogan was an icon in the world of wrestling. Now, let's talk about legacy. Legacy. That is what someone leaves behind when they die. So, for example, in this picture, we have what looks like to be a grandfather, and he is helping his grandson with some kind of project. But his legacy, or at least what he wants to be his legacy, might be that he was a great dad, he was a great husband, He was a great grandfather. That is the legacy for some people, especially if they aren't famous. But let's take a look at an example sentence for do we didn't even look at the definition yet for legacy. Legacy is what someone leaves behind after they die. Ozzy's legacy includes his music and his influence on rock. So, influence, I think we have that word coming up, yeah, in three more words. So, I won't explain it now, but just know that both Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan were influential. That's the adjective for what we will talk about in a minute. Influence. Legacy. Next is tribute. And this often happens after somebody famous dies. There are tributes for that person. Tributes are words or actions that show respect after someone dies. So obviously, you would have some sort of funeral, but that might be only for close friends and family. But a tribute could be fans of that person getting together, maybe holding a candlelight vigil. Candlelight vigil. It looks like that is what is happening in the picture there. A lot of people will get together at night, light candles, and pay tribute to a famous person. Fans gave a tribute to Hulk Hogan on social media. So some of the people that were influenced, man, we're doing retired next, but I almost feel like we should do influence next. But some of the people who were influenced by that star might give a tribute. Okay, let's skip retired. We'll come back to that. But let's talk about what an influence is. It's the power to affect people or things. When we talked about that grandfather, like he is influencing his grandson, whether he likes it or not. So younger people will usually look up to older people, maybe in their family, but also sometimes stars that they see on TV or on social media. Those people will influence younger people. So, again, the power to affect people or things. Hulk Hogan had a strong influence on many young wrestlers. Young wrestlers, maybe even young people like myself, when we heard Hulk Hogan talking about eating your vegetables and training hard, a lot of little kids were influenced by that. Maybe they ate a couple extra vegetables because Hulk Hogan said so. I was almost going to say both of those men had retired, but I'm not sure if that was true for Ozzy. Maybe. He did give one last performance that kind of made its rounds on social media. A lot of people saw him singing for the last time, but he had pretty much retired. That means stopped working, usually after a long career. So Hulk Hogan had retired. Wrestling is very hard on the body. He wasn't as athletic as he used to be. I mean, he was 71 years old. And also, Ozzy was suffering from something called Parkinson's disease. So he was kind of forced to retire. The next thing we should talk about after somebody dies is that there is probably a time for mourning. Now, notice how that is spelled. It's different from like the early part of the day, like maybe when you're eating your breakfast. Mourning is feeling deep sadness because somebody died. And if you take a look at that picture, there is no doubt that that family is sad. And it looks like they are in mourning because behind them, there are lots and lots of flowers. So this looks like it might be happening at a funeral. Let's look at a sentence that uses mourning. Many fans are in mourning after hearing the news about Ozzy. And if you take a look at his wife, Sharon, I felt so bad seeing her crying. She was definitely in mourning along with his two children. Both men were fairly controversial. That's how we say it in American English, controversial. That means causing disagreement or argument. Religion and politics are often controversial because nobody can ever agree on those two issues. But if you think about the lives of Ozzy Osbourne and Hulk Hogan, they were full of controversy. And since they have passed on now, it's another way to say they have died, a nicer, softer way to say they've died. But since they've both passed on, I won't go into what made their lives so controversial. We'll keep it light. But an example of something that is controversial could be pineapple on pizza. Some people think it's a good thing, some people think it's a horrible thing. And that is what makes it controversial. If you would like, leave it in the comments. Do you think pineapple on pizza is a horrible thing? To be honest, I don't mind it that much. But let's take a look at a sentence that has controversial in it. Hulk Hogan was involved in a controversial situation years ago. Like I said, I won't discuss it here. You can look it up later. Hang on, let me interrupt this English lesson for a second. If you are enjoying it, please go ahead, hit that like button. If it's your first time here, go ahead and subscribe. And if you want even more English, go ahead and become a member. It only costs a few dollars each month, and you get 4 bonus English lessons each month. If you want to take your English to the next level, and you need a speaking partner, I can be your speaking partner. Take a look at the comment section. There is a link for more information. Okay, despite being controversial figures, I know that both men were respected. Respected means admired by many people for good qualities or achievements. Ozzy was respected for his talent and long music career. I'm pretty sure Hulk Hogan was also respected by a lot of other people, especially wrestlers, because he was one of the most famous wrestlers of all time. But both of these men had stage names. Believe it or not, neither of their names were what you think they were. Ozzy Osbourne's real name is not Ozzy. Hulk Hogan, his parents didn't name him Hulk. So, a stage name is a fake or special name a performer uses instead of their real name. For example, Ozzy Osbourne is a stage name. His real name was John Michael Osborne. And guess what? Hulk Hogan's real name was Terry Bollea. Before we get to the quiz, I would like to practice some reading with you. So I am going to make myself really small, and then you can take a look at this reading. Really small. Look at that. That's really small. All right, here we go. Hulk Hogan was one of the most famous wrestlers in the world. He wore red and yellow clothes and said, "What you gonna do, brother?" Many kids in the 80s and 90s looked up to him. He also acted in movies. Even though he had some problems later in life, fans still respected him. We did one paragraph for Hulk. Let's do one for Ozzy. Ozzy Osbourne was a British rock singer. He became famous in the 1970s with a band called Black Sabbath. Later, he made music on his own. People called him the Prince of Darkness. He passed away in 2025. Fans around the world are remembering his music and his wild life. We talked about 10 terms in this English lesson. Let's see how well you remember them. Some of these questions are probably going to be pretty easy for you. What does passed away mean? Went on vacation, retired from work, died, fell asleep. Normally, I would give you 5 seconds for this, but I bet you don't need 5 seconds. The correct answer, I hope you said C. Passed away is a nice way to say died. What about number two? What is an icon? Is it a person who is very quiet, a famous and important person, someone who works in a shop, or a young child? I mean, come on. Some of these are just too easy for you. I know it. An icon? I hope you said B. It is a famous and important person. Is this a little harder? What is a legacy? A place where people live? A story someone writes? What someone leaves behind after they die? Or a piece of clothing? You got this one, right? You don't even need 5 seconds. The correct answer is C. What someone leaves behind after they die. All right, number four. You got this one. I know you do. What is a tribute? I need to move myself out of the way here. All right, a tribute is a kind of music, a way to say thank you, words or actions that show respect, or D, a problem someone has. This one might be a little bit more difficult. What do you think? Is it a kind of music? No. Let's rule that one out. Is it a problem someone has? D, no. So it's either a way to say thank you or words or actions that show respect. I think both could work, but I think the best answer for this question is C. How about the next one here? If someone is retired, they have started a new job, gone to sleep, stopped working after a long time, or moved to a new country. A, B, C, or D. Now, to be honest, in English, you can sometimes say, I am going to retire for the night. So B might work. But for this lesson, the best answer is C, stopped working after a long time. What is influence? Both of these men had influence. Is it the way someone dresses, a person's favorite food, the power to affect others, or a kind of movie? This is pretty easy, right? Influence, definitely again C. I think that's been the answer for a couple of the questions. The power to affect others. What does it mean if someone is in mourning? You are sleeping. You are getting ready for school. You feel sad because someone died, or you are hungry. Well, in English, some people will say, if you don't know the answer, always pick C. I don't know if that is true for all quizzes, but it's kind of true for this one because the next answer is definitely C. So if somebody is in mourning, they feel sad because someone died. What about number 8? Are you going to pick C without even seeing the question? Don't do that. It's not C. Spoiler alert. If something is controversial, it is very quiet. B, makes people disagree. C, happens once a year. I already told you it wasn't C. But what about D? Maybe controversial means it's easy to understand. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully you said B. How are you doing so far? Do you have 8 out of 8? Something makes me think you do have 8 out of 8 because you're still watching. Nice job. Congratulations. What if someone is respected? Are they ignored by others? Are they always angry? Are they liked and admired? Or are they very young? Well, D, it's possible someone very young could be respected, but that is not the best answer. I have to say that the best answer is yet again C. Final one here. Do you think it's going to be C again? What is a stage name? Is it A, a name used by a performer instead of their real name? B, the name of a building? C, the name for a new video game or a kind of stage light? There is only one good answer here. I'm hoping you said A. A stage name is a name used by a performer instead of their real name. And that is it. Congratulations, you made it to the end of another very long English lesson. Maybe you're looking for more English. Maybe that was too short for you. I don't know. But right down there is an English lesson YouTube thinks you are going to like. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.